Hello and welcome to Just Pick One. Today we're going for a solo camp in the New Forest. I decided to buy myself a little tent and use some of our existing camping equipment to go solo for the very first time. Come with me as I pitch my tent, have some food, have a drive around the New Forest, which is absolutely stunning. Enjoy! So, I'm here in the New Forest. If I've actually panned that way, you can see the New Forest ponies are literally right there. They're absolutely beautiful and they can roam completely free in the New Forest. They can do as they please. They have right of way over us. But I'm going to try and put my tent up. It's a bit windy and I hope that's not going to be too much of a problem. We'll see. Let's find out. Here we go. How easy was that? Right, it's very windy, so I'm definitely going to have to put in a lot of pegs and guy lines and things like that. I may need to move it or the car. We'll see. Let's go. How cool is that? I bought this tent to be nice and easy for a single person to just pitch really quick so I could do overnight camps and stuff like that. And that was really easy, super easy. It opens up a bit like an umbrella at the top. You just have to sort of hold the top and push down after you've folded the legs out. And then it's a case of just getting it onto a flat spot, which, having looked around the whole site, is actually pretty flat itself. But I thought this was actually quite nice. I've got some bushes behind me as it's a bit breezy, beautiful trees the other side, and especially for me at my age, the loos are just round that corner, so that's really nice and handy, especially late at night, because I'm not a wild camper. I need a toilet, I need a loo for me. Maybe when I grow up I might try wild camping, especially if the tent is that easy to pitch. Goodness me. Yeah, so a good old trusty lump hammer. Don't need a lump hammer, you should bring a mallet, but this is all we've got at home and I thought it was absolutely fine. It did the job. So yeah, that's my little tent. I'm so excited. Okay, so welcome to my Caflity. Yeah, work that one out. My Caflity, I didn't make that up, tent. It's really nice. I think they'd class this one as a 3-man, maybe 2 comfortably, but maybe 3-man tent. Now I'm looking at it through the camera, it looks a little bit wonky. I'll sort that leg out in a minute. But anyway, yeah, so the door opens up fully at the front, but it's got 2 halves. So you can open up half at a time to make it better for wind and things like that. And then you've got a D opening inside, which just rolls down to the front and then ties with 2 little ties just to keep it still. And then inside, got all this space just for me, but I think you could comfortably fit 2 people and gear in here. You might be able to fit 3 as long as you've got nothing with you, or put everything in the car. That wouldn't be an issue as long as it's just 3 people sleeping side by side. I'll find the exact dimensions that I was given when I bought this and put them on screen now for you, so you can see how it is. And up top, these sides are mesh on the inside most of the way down, so at least half the way down is mesh on each side. And then you've got the hanging hook in the middle for a light or something like that, and then again down the other side. And then we've got some mesh pockets just to keep things in so they don't go missing, 1 on each side. The inner of this tent actually undoes with these little hooks. So if you wanted to use this as like a beach shelter or something like that, then you could. But when it first comes out of the bag, it's all pre-assembled, so you don't have to faff putting it in. So that's really handy. And as you can see, there's a door on 2 sides. So that's really helpful. So if you're staying with somebody, you have one person sleeping near this door, that door, and one near this one. And then you don't have to clamber over each other in the night to try and get out to use the loo. So that's really helpful. So yeah, this is my new little tent for me to do just pick one things in. I love it already. It's been so simple, from saying I'm about to take the tent out to actually having it pitched with guy lines out and everything has taken me a total of 20 minutes. And that was doing pieces to camera, setting up the camera and all that kind of stuff. So less than, it says you can pitch it in 3. Whoever's doing that is a peg aficionado and what have you. I don't think you can do it in 3. But the structure of the tent can be taken out, unfolded and put up. You cannot have it pegged out in 3 minutes, I don't think. That's a bit much. That's a bit of a stretch. But definitely one person putting everything out, taking everything out of the bag, doing it from scratch, is taking me less than 20 minutes, which is absolutely fine by me because our normal family one takes ages. So this is absolutely brilliant for me. Righty, I'll come back soon with maybe a bit more of a tour of the site, New Forest. It's gone all cloudy. The last few nights have been absolutely stunning with sunsets and sky and all that kind of stuff. I'm hoping it's going to be alright. With this wind, I think it's bringing a bunch of cloud with it, so hopefully. But anyway, I'll show you me cooking my dinner and bits and pieces, as most standard camping things actually have on YouTube. So I'll see you then. A nice little boiler. Fantastic. Cute little set this. Didn't cost a lot of money, but absolutely ideal for filling up a pot or something. Having a hot drink. I like it. So here I've got the Outdoor Revolution Skyfall MIDI 120, which is a 12 centimetre, really self-inflating, really squashy, really comfy mattress. Again, as I said, I'm not a wild camper. I like my comfort, and this is ultimate comfort when it comes to sleeping, and sleeping well at camp. I've never been more comfy than I have been on one of these. You can get these in a multiple different thicknesses, but because I'm a big girl I like the thicker tent, the thicker mattress. And as it's self-inflating, it comes really squished, but it's got foam inside. And what you do is you open up this valve, and it starts to automatically inflate. It wants to be inflated, so it automatically starts to fill with air. Yeah, so come back when I've got my whole sleep system set up, and I'll give you a spoiler right now. There's not a sleeping bag in sight. Watch this space. Who says camping can't be comfy? Because I'm not a hiker or a wild camper or anything like that, I choose to bring a thick mattress, a double duvet, and a proper pillow. I mean, why not? Sleeping is one of the most important things to get right when you're camping, because if you can sleep properly, you can do everything else. And this is the most comfortable sleep system I've had. So yeah, camping can be comfy. I was hoping to be able to wander around the site and film a bunch of things, but it ended up being a much calmer and quieter camp than I actually planned. I ended up just eating some food, chilling out in my tent and just being by myself, which was actually the whole point of this camp in the first place, to be by myself. I did end up going for a little stroll and just trying to get some nice, quiet, calm, walking on gravel noises, which is what this video is. But then it started to rain on me, so I needed to get back to my tent. As silly me, I completely didn't look at the forecast and didn't realise that there was rain on the horizon. Anyway, I went back to camp and had a really nice sleep, as I'm about to tell you. Well, good morning. Oh, it's early-ish. Early for me. I mean, it's Saturday morning and it's 7:30. But when the light comes in through the tent like this, it's not really tricky to see why I'm awake. I slept well. It started to rain at about, about 9 o'clock last night, something like that, around 9 o'clock. And it didn't stop before it was still going rather when I got up to use the toilet at about 1 a.m. So that was a little annoying, but the tent itself is actually held up incredibly well. I'm completely dry in here. It's quite a cheap tent. It was less than £70 when I bought it, and it's not even a tarp, the floor. I was a little worried about it because it feels quite thin. The material itself feels really thin, and I thought I was going to get wet. But looking around, I can't see a single drop of water inside. There's no condensation inside the inner skin, none whatsoever. The only water I can see is outside, which is absolutely fine. That's where it's supposed to be with the rain. And so I'm very, very happy. I think this tent is rated to have a 3000 ml hydrostatic head. So pretty decent. Not the strongest, not the best, but I'm in England and the south coast of England even. So I don't expect to have extreme weather. We don't get extreme weather here. It's also June, so it should be nice. As I said, it's about 7:30 in the morning. It's actually starting to get quite warm in here. So I've just quickly opened the top of this inner door and then popped the bottom of the outer door just to get a little bit of airflow, and that's helped a lot, just to increase airflow. I did actually feel a couple of breezes on me in the night, so it's not exactly overnight. It was plenty warm enough, it was plenty airy enough. I do wonder in the winter whether it would be too cold, but for June, where the temperature at night was, according to the forecast, it was only going to drop to 12. It was absolutely fine. Another thing I didn't mention when I was doing my initial tent walk around when I first pitched it, was the height. I'm 5'9", and I'm not all legs or all torso. I'm kind of like 50-50 for my height, and I'm currently sat on my sleeping mat, which I said was 12 centimeters thick, but squashy. And as you can see, I've got, what's this? Around 6 inches above my head. I cannot touch this little hook with my head sitting. It doesn't touch my head at all. So that's really, really good. When I was looking for a tent, some of them seemed a little bit too low, and I was a little worried about it, that I was going to feel like I was in a cave or something. But no, the height is actually really good. However, it being a pyramid shape, a 4-sided pyramid shape, all of the height is in the middle. However, coming back, you could sit 2 people side by side and then both have, reasonable headroom. So yeah, I'm 5'9", or 174 centimeters ish. I'll correct myself if that's wrong. But yeah, 5'9" or 174, and like I said, I can sit up completely without touching this toggle. If I had a light on there or something, I probably would nudge it, but it's perfectly comfortable, certainly during the daytime when I don't need one. With the sun streaming in, it's really rising behind me now, which is lovely. Yeah, so overall, overnight with rain, I did an unexpected rain test. I had no idea there was rain coming today, last night rather, and it's done really, really well. I'm really pleased, especially for, with a promotion on Amazon. It was £68.70, I think it was, that I paid for this tent. It's kept me warm, it's kept me dry. What else does a tent need to do overnight, right? I've got lots of space because it's just me in here, and I've filled it with all my rubbish, and I'm I'm a very untidy person most of the time. But I've got like I said, my sleeping mat, which is here, which is a midi size. I'll put the sizing of this on screen right now. So it's not a small sleeping pad or sleeping mat by any means. It's not small. So there's this one. You could easily get a second one. So you could get a second one of these side by side. You wouldn't really have any room for anything else, I must admit. You wouldn't have any room. Because the mat itself goes right to the edges and sort of pushes ever so slightly on the floor. So this particular mat, I'm very happy for it to just be me in here, because I've got my mat plus loads of room for all of my stuff. I can sit in the tent very comfortably, next to my sleeping mat, and I've got all my cookware, all my food and clothes and camera equipment and bits and pieces. So I can very happily be here on my own and have more than enough room. Outside the doors, let me show you. Outside the door, the door itself, outside the inner door, the outer door actually comes outwards. It goes outwards, so you've got a little bit of a vestibule. So I don't know if you can see, if I turn it, my camera wants to look at me all the time. So if I turn you around, and we'll have a look out front. Let's have a look. Yeah, it creates a triangular vestibule shape, and that's actually quite large. So as soon as I open the door, I've actually got dry ground to go outside onto, which is really nice. I've actually kept my shoes on the other side. Yeah, I've actually kept my shoes outside on the other one. So that's good, because I was able to leave them outside because I had to do that midnight walk to the toilet and they got wet. So I was quite happy for them to stay outside, but still dry, because the ground outside is dry still in that little vestibule. So that's excellent. But yeah, so for the Keflity, no idea, Keflity tent, or others of its type, if they all have the same spec, then I'd highly recommend it for one person. So easy to pitch, so easy to fit everything in here for one person. There's more than enough room for one person. 2 people would squeeze, but you've got those vestibule pieces that you could put a backpack or some bits that you're happy to have outside without any issue whatsoever. But yeah, otherwise leave some bits in your car. If you're bringing a car, leave some pieces in your car and you'll be absolutely fine. So yeah, that's great. Thank you very much, Keflity. I'm really happy. Right, let's get on and make a cup of coffee and have some breakfast. Cafe. Double chocolate mocha this morning. Right, well, unfortunately, time ran out at Round Hill campsite in the New Forest, and so it was time to pack up my tent. Everything always takes a little bit longer to pack down than it does to go up, but this tent, being so easy, was really easy again to pack up. I just gave everything a little bit of a sweep out with my tiny little dustpan and brush, closed everything up, took the pegs out, and everything folded down just like putting down an umbrella. Just waited a little while for the wind to calm down a bit. Fold up the legs, and back in the bag. So now I'm just heading out for a drive around the New Forest just to show you what it looks like, some of the wildlife you can see, and just to take you with me on my little solo adventure.
One hour later.
got New Forest ponies, but look, here we've got some beautiful New Forest cows. Like I said before, they've got right of way, so we have to wait until they move. Hello. They're beautiful. This is part of the New Forest as well. It's called Boulder Wood. Absolutely glorious. I mean, it's called the New Forest, this whole area. But when you think of forest, you think of this, you know, close trees and all that kind of stuff. But there's massive sections of the New Forest that are actually really wide, open heathland, more than forest. And the roads, oh, hello. There we go. Cameron Diaz moment again. And that bit in if you've seen the Holiday film, if you've seen the film The Holiday, she goes to she visits England and she gets in her little Mini and drives down a country lane and sort of goes, oh, don't hit me, that kind of thing. Yep, our roads are actually that narrow at times, especially in places like this. Cattle grid. There we go. That's to stop livestock going through, using the road to get in and out and move around quite so much. So this is what I think of when I think of forest. Gorgeous winding road through lots and lots of trees. Utterly gorgeous. Thank you very much for joining me on another video. I'm hoping to do more camps in the future, and if there's anything you'd like to see on a camp, then please do let me know in the comments section down below. If you'd like to know more about me, go to justpickone.uk, and I'll see you next time.